how do you create soft light? Well, soft light is created when you measure it and you go, oh, wow, that light, it's pretty big, or it could be this big, or it could be that big. That's when you know you're getting very soft light. And that's why when I use a diffuser, so what a diffuser does, it takes a small light source and it spreads that light and makes it bigger. I like to use a light source, a diffuser, that's 30 inches or larger. To me, that gives you the professional quality light by that size, especially if you put it about 3 feet from your subject. That's kind of like the magic formula, but you gotta have that light at least 30 inches. And so what happens is you may have a small light source, but you have the power to make it bigger with a diffuser and softening that light. We're going to get into there's a cost of doing that. It takes up a lot more power, but you can do it from a small light source. That's how you make light bigger, is by diffusing it. 2, you can move that light closer to your subject, because as you move that light closer to your subject, if you look at it, it gets bigger. So if you have a light source, let's say like the light that's next to me, right here, it appears to me, if I were to measure it, I would say it's about this big here. But if you put this light source 10 feet from me, 20 feet from me, and I measure it, I'm going to go, it's about that big. So people, what they do is, oh yeah, I think to create soft light, I need to buy a diffuser. But there's 2 factors here. Yes, you need to diffuse the light, but distance matters. So even if you put a diffuser on your light and you put the light 20 feet away from the person, it's still hard light, because if you were to measure that light source, it's going to only be this big. So not only do you need to diffuse it, but you also, distance matters, and you have to get it as close as possible to the subject. Another way to soften this light is to actually what they call fading the light. And so you can have your light source directly on your subject with a diffuser, but really the softest part of the light is not the middle, it's the edges of the light. And so by fading that light off your subject, you can also create softer light by not using the middle of the light. And that can make a difference too. So my magic formula, if you look at this next picture and you can see the girl on the beach and the waves hitting her, I used this softbox with this flash in it, and you can see it's very soft light on my subject. And what it is, it's a 30-inch diffuser 3 feet or less from your subject. I guarantee you, if you use that formula, you're going to produce professional quality light on your subject. It will literally separate you from other photographers because this formula works and it creates amazing light. When do you use soft light? Well, it's just like hard light. You have to use soft light, especially when you're in a soft light environment. So when you look around and you don't see a lot of sharp shadows and you see maybe smooth transitions between highlight and shadow, or you don't see any shadow at all, you go, you know what? I'm in a soft light situation. So soft light with soft light. For example, you're indoors, and a lot of times indoors you're using large light sources, or it's being reflected off the wall and becoming very large. You don't see a lot of sharp shadows in your environment when you're indoors. And so if you use a hard light flash on your subject when you're indoors, it's not going to look that great. It's going to look flashy, right? And maybe that's why some of you just don't use flash, Because every time you use a flash, you put it on your camera and you fire it and you look at it and go, that just doesn't look natural. Why? Because you're using hard light in a soft light situation and it's just not believable. So if you look around and you go, I'm in a soft light situation, then most likely you want to match and use soft light. You're in a soft light environment, you look around, you see soft shadows or hardly any shadows at all, then you use soft light. That works perfectly. What you don't want to do is use hard light in a soft light situation, but there's something special about soft light. Soft light is a joker. Soft light is king. Soft light you can use in soft light situations or especially in hard light situations. So if you're in a hard light situation and you use soft light, it is magic. It's the type of stuff most people don't know how to do. And if you can learn how to use soft light in a hard light environment, your photos are really gonna stand out. Let's look at this picture here. We're in the airport hangar. Look all around. You don't see any sharp shadows on the ground. So what did I do? I used a nice 33-inch umbrella. I put my flash through it. It created soft light in my subject and it matches the environment she's in. So you can look at the airplane that she's under, right? And you can see some light on the top and you can see a shadow underneath the airplane. But look at that transition of light. It's very smooth. So you know you're in a soft light situation there. Let's take a look at this photo of this subject in a red dress on the dock. Now here, I'm in a hard light situation. How do I know that? I know the sun is behind her and look at the shadow that it creates. You could see from her foot, there's a very sharp, distinct line there. So I'm in a hard light situation. But I used a 33-inch umbrella and with a flash firing through it and putting it pretty close to my subject. So it's creating soft light on my subject, but there's hard light in the background. And so that's why you get a very professional quality look by using soft light in a hard light situation. We need to talk a little bit about how much power it will take away from your light source when you diffuse it. There's always a cost involved. So to create soft light, it's gonna cost you a lot. So if you now let's take a look at this simple shoot-through umbrella. And I'm firing my flash and you can see this umbrella completely lit up. Now, when you fire light through a typical diffuser, you are gonna lose 2 stops. What does that mean? Well, 1 stop means you're gonna lose half the power. But 2 stops means you're gonna lose half the power, then you're gonna lose half the power of that. So in essence, if your flash was on full, when you put it through a diffuser, now your light is only 25% of full. You are getting only 1/4 the power when you put it through a diffuser. And so when you're in a bright light situation, you have to have a lot of bright light to match the sun. And diffusers take a heck of a lot of power. It takes out 75% of your power when you put it through one diffuser panel like an umbrella. And so that's why people like very, very, very strong light sources when they're shooting outdoors. Now let's go one step further and talk about softboxes. Softboxes have 2 diffusers in them, an inner diffuser and an outer diffuser. How much light does that take away? Well, the inner diffuser takes away 2 stops and the outer diffuser takes 2 stops. You are losing 4 stops. What does that actually mean? It is taking away 94% of the power from your light source. 94% of it is being taken away. That is huge. So do you understand why people buy these bigger and more stronger lights when they want to shoot outdoors? It's because when they diffuse it and put it through a softbox, they're going to lose a lot of light. Meaning, when you have a softbox and you have two diffusers, essentially your light is 1/16 the power. Or if you're simply putting it through one diffuser, then you're at 1/4 the power. So in the first case with the umbrella, you're losing 75% of the power. And then when you double diffuse it, if you have enough juice in your light source to do that, you're only using 6% of the power or losing 94% of it. So that's why when I go outdoors and I'm using my softbox, I do not typically double diffuse it. I take the inner diffuser off because that cuts out a lot of light. And so just because it comes with two diffusers doesn't necessarily mean you want to use both, because it depends on the strength of the light source that you're using. If you're just using a standard flash, there is no way you're going to be able to get great light out of it when it takes away 94% of the power when you double diffuse it. So using outdoors, I recommend that you just use one diffuser on your softbox or through your umbrella. So this is a summary of what we learned so far, especially about light quality. And the reason why we want to do off-camera lighting is because it shows shadows. It creates depth and shape. We also realize that the light depends on the size of the source. Hard light is a very small source. Soft light is a large source. And so size of the light source actually does matter. Diffusion makes a small light source larger. And that's very important. And you have to understand how much power it takes away from your light source too. Diffusion creates soft light. But it depends on how you use the diffusion. Some people think that if they diffuse the light, it's automatically soft. It's only soft when you get it really close to your subject. You could buy a diffuser, put it on your flash, have it 20 feet away from your subject, and now you have a hard light source and not a soft light source, because distance matters. So it all has to work together, the distance and the diffusion, in order for you to get soft light. We also said, what was the secret formula? A 30-inch plus diffuser at 3 feet away from your subject is going to give you that magic light that's going to make your portraits come alive. Believability. If you are in a soft light situation, you gotta use soft light most of the time. And so soft light goes with soft light, hard light goes with hard light. Soft light is king. You can use soft light in a hard light situation, and you can also use it in a soft light situation. And if you really want to make your photos stand out from everybody else's, if you use soft light outdoors in a hard light situation, your photos will stand out. It will have a professional quality to it, unlike your competition. And this method I love using because soft light always makes a portrait look beautiful, and that is the thing to remember.